The rain in the port district didn't fall, it drifted, a gray shroud that smelled of salt and rusted iron. Rafael stood under a leaking awning, his hands shoved deep into pockets that held only a few copper coins and a crumpled eviction notice. He was a man defined by his almosts. He almost finished school, almost kept his last job, almost mattered. To the world, Rafael was a smudge on the glass, easily wiped away. He followed a stray cat into an alleyway where the cobblestones turned to packed earth. There, tucked between two warehouses, stood a shop no wider than a doorway. A single lamp burned behind a window frosted with decades of grime. Inside, the air was devoid of the city's damp chill. It was hot, dry, and smelled of scorched sand. An old man with skin like cracked parchment stood over a low table. He wasn't using tools. He was using a flame that burned a haunting, impossible violet. In his hands was a glob of molten glass glowing like a trapped star. "Hold this," the man commanded. He didn't ask if Rafael was a thief or a beggar. Rafael took the iron blowpipe, his heart hammering. He expected the heat to sear him, but it only hummed against his palms. This was the lost art of cymatic glass blowing, where the shape of the vessel wasn't formed by wooden paddles, but by the resonance of the artisan's own voice. "Breath is just wind," the old man grunted, his eyes fixed on the glowing orb. "But a song is a blueprint. If you want to change the shape of your life, Rafael, you have to find the frequency that makes it dance." For months, Rafael lived in the heat. He learned that if he shouted in frustration, the glass would shatter into jagged, angry shards. If he whimpered in self-pity, the glass would slump into a colorless puddle. He had to find the middle, the steady, resonant hum of a man who knew his own worth. He practiced until his throat was raw and his lungs felt like bellows. He discovered that the glass didn't just hold light, it reacted to his presence. When he was calm, the glass turned a deep, oceanic blue. When he was determined, it flared gold. One night, the master gave him a task: create a vessel that can hold a secret. Rafael thought of his life, the years of being the underdog, the quiet humiliations of being overlooked. He realized those weren't weights dragging him down, they were the grit that gave the glass its color. Without the impurities, the crystal would be boring. He began to hum. It started as a low vibrate in his chest, a sound born of every no he'd ever heard. The glass began to spin, stretching upward, thin as a dragonfly's wing but strong as tempered steel. As he reached the crescendo, the violet flame licked the air and the glass didn't just take shape, it began to pulse. When the glow faded, Rafael held a carafe that seemed to contain a swirling nebula. But when he looked through the glass, the world outside the shop didn't look gray anymore. The rain looked like falling diamonds, the rusted warehouses looked like sleeping giants. He looked for the master to show him the work, but the shop was silent. The violet flame was a mere ember. On the table lay a small note in elegant, looping script. "The world is only as fragile as you believe it to be. Now go and show them how you ring." Rafael stepped out into the rain, the carafe tucked under his arm. He didn't walk with his head down anymore. He moved with the steady, rhythmic grace of a man who knew that even the most broken materials could be sung into something beautiful. If you liked this video, please press the like button and subscribe to our channel.